In every corner of the Philippines, there are stories that shroud the darkness, legends that are not just told at night. One of the most well-known creatures in our wonders, the Aswang. Are they real, or is it just a myth to scare children? The most well-known shape-shifting monster that eats flesh and drinks blood is the Aswang from Philippine folklore, which can transform into animals or other forms to stalk victims at night. Belief roots in 15th century. Early Visayan and Mindanaoan communities already feared evil shapeshifters. The term aswang was used broadly for witches, mankukulam, ghouls and man-eating spirits. Passed down through oral tradition, no written records yet. Feared as bringers of sickness, death and bad harvests. In the 16th century, Spaniards bring Catholicism and begin documenting local beliefs. Priests describe aswangs as servants of the devil, blending indigenous fear with Christian demonology. The church used the aswang legend as a moral weapon. Do not stray from the faith, or the aswang will take you. Panay, Capiz in particular, became a hotspot for aswang tales during this time. Why? Remote villages, there were perfect breeding grounds for eerie stories, dark forests, unlit roads, and mysterious illnesses that people explained as aswang attacks and made it easy for these tales to grow. In 1582, Father Juan de Plasencia writes about witch-like women with night-prowling habits. Missionaries use the Aswang legend to discourage pagan practices. In 17th to 18th century, Aswang image evolves. Now more associated with blood drinking and unborn children, vampire-like traits, shape-shifting stories increase. Beautiful young women by day, terrifying winged monsters by night. In some towns, accused aswang are shunned or exiled, much like European witch trials. In the 19th century, Spanish rule still strong. Folklore spreads across islands through trade and migration. In Capiz, remote villages gain the reputation of being aswang territory due to strange illnesses and disappearances. The Philippine Revolution erupts. Some revolutionaries use aswang rumors to scare Spanish soldiers away from certain areas. During the early 20th century, US soldiers stationed in the Philippines hear about aswangs and write about them in letters. In the 1930s, Manila newspapers sensationalize Capiz as the land of witches. The aswang becomes both a fearsome monster and a tourism curiosity. In the 1940s, Japanese soldiers are told not to wander into certain rural towns because of aswang danger. Some guerrilla fighters use the myth as psychological warfare, leaving staged aswang attacks to scare enemies. In the 20th century, horror comics and radio dramas feature aswang stories. Films like Aswang in 1973 and Shake, Rattle and Roll series cement the modern image, long-tongued, winged, fetus-hunting monster. Rural sightings are still reported, keeping the fear alive. In the 21st century, folklore meets pop culture. Aswangs appear in video games, Bayani, Tracy, the Blackout Club mods, novels and TV series. Social media fuels viral aswang sighting videos, often staged but still effective in scaring people. Modern storytellers reinterpret the aswang, sometimes as tragic figures cursed by magic, not purely evil. But what's the real story about aswang that people do not know? Number 1. The aswang was not always evil. In pre-colonial times, early accounts suggest that aswang was a broad term for witches, shamans, and beings with supernatural abilities. Some were even healers or spiritual guides. Spanish colonizers later twisted the image, branding all of them as devil-like to discourage native spirituality. Number 2. The Aswang's curse is often inherited. In rural lore, an Aswang doesn't always choose to be one. It can be passed down, almost like a family burden. When an Aswang grows old, they supposedly transfer their power to a younger relative by passing a mysterious black chick, or sometimes a pebble, into their mouth, which lives inside the host and grants their powers. Number 3. Aswangs are said to live double lives. There are tales that Aswangs live quietly among humans. Locals claim that they are among the kindest, most generous neighbors during the day, sharing food, attending fiestas, even helping in emergencies. This dual nature fuels the fear because anyone could be one. Some villagers claim you can spot them if their reflection in water or mirrors appears upside down. Number 4. There's a silent language between Aswangs. Some old stories from Capis and Aklan tell of Aswangs using an inaudible, high-pitched call to communicate over long distances. Dogs are said to react to it, whining or barking at seemingly nothing. Number 5. The true fear isn't the monster, it's the hunger. Elders in Panay whisper that the Aswang's craving for flesh is like an illness. If they resist too long, they weaken, tremble, and go mad, sometimes attacking loved ones. It's less about malice, more about an unstoppable need. Number 6. Aswang don't always kill. A little-known belief is that some Aswangs take only enough blood or flesh to survive, leaving victims alive but weak. These survivors sometimes vanish mysteriously years later. Locals say it's the Aswang claiming their debt. The mystery behind the Aswang tale in the Philippines is a blend of folklore, fear, and cultural history that has evolved for centuries. And part of what makes it mysterious is how it sits between superstition and reality. The Aswang is mysterious because it exists in a foggy space where folklore, colonial history, superstition, and possible real-life events overlap. No one can fully prove or disprove it, and that uncertainty keeps the fear alive. And as of today, no one really knows what is the real form of an Aswang.
Here's a story of the forgotten tale of the first Aswang, Malia. Long before the Spanish galleons touched Philippine shores, when the islands were still ruled by the Diwata and guarded by Anito spirits, there was a village deep in the Visayan forests known as Bayang Luanchen. Among the villagers lived a young woman named Malia. She was beautiful in an unsettling way, skin pale as moonlight, eyes glimmering like wet stones, and a voice that seemed to sing even when she spoke. Though she was admired, many kept their distance, for strange things always happened around her. Chickens would vanish without a trace, and sometimes the air near her home carried the faint smell of iron and rot. One season, a rare Pulang Buwan, blood moon, rose over the horizon. The Babaylan warned everyone, "Do not wander when the red moon rises, for the boundary between our world and the dark realm weakens. Evil walks freely tonight." That night, Malia's mother fell gravely ill. No herb, prayer, or offering could heal her. Desperate, Malia ventured into the forest despite the warnings, searching for a rare root the Babaylan said might save her mother. As she walked deeper, the air grew heavy, the trees twisted unnaturally, and a cold wind whispered her name. In a small clearing bathed in the red moonlight, Malia found a figure, a tall woman cloaked in shadows. She talked to her and asked for her life in exchange of her mother. Hesitated at first, driven by love, Malia agreed. The Shadow Woman, an ancient demon known in whispers as Aswang, a creature older than men, pressed her palm over Malia's heart. Pain like fire surged through her veins. Her bones cracked, her skin rippled, and her teeth sharpened. The world changed. She could smell every living thing, hear heartbeats miles away. By dawn, Malia returned home. Her mother was miraculously healed, but Malia herself could no longer eat rice or fish. Only raw flesh filled the gnawing void inside her. She hid this hunger, slipping into the forest at night to hunt pigs, dogs, and eventually, people. Malia thought her secret safe until one evening, a hunter saw her crouched over a half-eaten deer, her mouth stained red, her body sprouting black feathers. She lunged at him, but he escaped, spreading the tail of her monstrous form. The Babalan confronted her, chanting ancient words and casting blessed oil upon her. But the curse could not be undone. Malia had bound herself to the Aswang. She roamed from island to island, feeding on the weak and the alone. But the hunger was never satisfied. Generations later, the people of the Visayas told their children that the first Aswang was a woman who traded her soul under the blood moon.
The Aswang, a story told for generations. Was it a monster or a warning? A lie to control or a truth too terrifying to face? One thing's certain, the legend still walks among us, in whispers, in shadows, and maybe in the house next door.